The first indication was not a signal, but a silence. A gravitational anomaly, a tear in the fabric of space-time, moving faster than light and decelerating with a force that bent physics to its will. In observatories from the Atacama to Hawaii, the initial science calculations were dismissed as sensor ghosts, their alarms silenced because the scientists working could not believe the results they were getting. The refined data, however, offered no comfort. The object was artificial, a dark metallic cityscape adrift in the void. Its diameter, roughly 1,700 kilometers, half the size of Earth's moon. Designated Artifact Zero is settled into a stable orbit between Mars and Jupiter, a silent colossus. Every telescope on and off Earth trained on it. Scientific analysis became a global panic attack. Spectrography revealed a hull material that absorbed nearly all electromagnetic radiation. It was a black hole of information. The only signature was a massive, steady bleed of waste heat, a byproduct of an energy source so vast that moving the moon-sized structure was trivial. The military assessment was grim. A civilization with that power had no need for visible weapons. The ship itself, its sheer mass, was the ultimate deterrent. Panic crystallized into terror when a section of Artifact Zero's dark surface shifted. Not a bay door, but one of countless geometric indentations, smoothing open. From it emerged the Herald, a 1-kilometer-long vessel that moved with terrifying precision on a direct course for Earth. The realization was chilling. Artifact Zero wasn't just a ship, it was a carrier, one that could hold an unthinkable number of such vessels. Global Defense Forces shot to DEFCON 2. The world held its breath. The Herald took up a geostationary orbit, a sword of Damocles hanging over the planet. Closer now, its details were horrifyingly clear. Its sensor arrays actively scanned everything from military bases to ocean currents. Among them were the weapons: long, menacing barrels, clustered missile tubes, and bulbous torpedo bays. It was a fully armed warship, its silent presence about their heads a threat that a continent could be glassed on a whim. Then the message came. A perfectly modulated signal on all frequencies in every major human language. We request permission to land a single, unarmed diplomatic convoy. We await coordinates. The emergency UN session was a maelstrom of fear and strategy. Military and scientific advisors joined their voices to those of the diplomats. "It's a trick, a Trojan horse," one general argued, his face a granite mask. "A Trojan horse for what, General?" snapped Dr. Aris Thorne of SETI, his voice strained. "They don't need deception. They can simply grab a dozen rocks from the asteroid belt right now and sterilize the surface of the planet, and there is absolutely nothing we could do to stop them. Shooting their envoy will be an act of war, guaranteeing the very outcome you fear." The decision was made. Cape Canaveral, Landing Complex 39B. A contained spaceport far from major population centers. A place that demonstrated capability, not fear. The coordinates were transmitted. The shuttle that descended was a silent black sliver. It ignored atmospheric re-entry physics, descending without a sound or a heat shield. A display of gravity manipulation that made physicists watching weep. It settled onto the sun-baked concrete of the launch pad, as softly as a falling leaf. A ring of Abrams tanks and nervous soldiers surrounded the pad, their weapons held at a ready, low-ready position, but not yet aimed. Their fingers rested alongside triggers, not on them, but their posture was taut, ready to snap into action in a heartbeat. The delegation stood at a preset mark. US Secretary of State Anna Flores, UN Secretary General Marcus Sharma, 4-star General Miller, and Dr. Aris Thorne. The tension was a physical force, thick and hot in the Florida humidity. A ramp extended from the shuttle. A single figure emerged. It was tall, slender, its skin possessing a complex, iridescent sheen. It held a simple white pole with a white flag, which it waved in a slow, desperate arc. "Please." His voice, perfectly English but laced with a synthetic tremor, called out, "Don't shoot!" It walked forward and stopped before them. Before the UN Secretary-General moved, the US Secretary of State stepped forward. "On behalf of the people of Earth," Ana Flores began, her voice steady despite the hammering in her chest, "we welcome you. You are a guest, and you will be returned to your ship in peace. Our soldiers are here merely as a safety precaution, not as a threat." The alien did not respond with words. Instead, it dropped to its knees, then prostrated itself fully, its forehead pressing against the warm concrete. A stunned silence blanketed the launch pad. General Miller's eyes widened. "You misunderstand." The alien's voice was muffled but clear. "I am not surrendering. My species is surrendering." Marcus Sharma blinked. "Why? We aren't at war." The envoy slowly pushed itself up to its knees. "We are the Vanguard. Our purpose is to ensure our species' survival. We have encountered 17 other species. They each attempted to vanquish us, to eliminate us. Our simulations always gave us a path to survival. We followed it and eliminated them. It was the only way." It took a shuddering breath. "We added their knowledge to our own. Our simulations improved with each victory. Then we found you." Its dark eyes scanned their faces, pleading for understanding. "We began our simulations as we approached. We tried a decapitating strike on your capitals. It caused chaos, but your chain of command shattered into 1,000 resilient fragments. Asymmetric warfare began immediately. Within a decade, you had reverse-engineered debris from our attack craft and were staging hit-and-run attacks on our supply lines. Within a century, you had found our homeworld and extinguished our star." It continued, its tone that of a strategist reading a doomed report. "We simulated a ground invasion. You fought for every inch, luring our forces into urban traps and biological warfare for which we had no defense. You captured our landing craft and used them to assault our interstellar craft, then used that to blow up our homeworld. We simulated a prolonged orbital bombardment, scouring your cities. In those simulations, hidden bunkers, submarine fleets, and off-world colonies you didn't even know you needed, yet survived. They learned, they adapted, they built. Within a century, a human fleet, powered by stolen and improved versions of our own technology, would arrive at our homeworld. And again, they would eliminate us completely." The envoy's shoulders slumped. "The simulations all showed the same thing. In every scenario where we initiated hostilities, the outcome was the same. Your inevitable victory. Our extinction. The only variable was the timeline. Even turning around and returning home without contact only prolonged the inevitable. The only scenario where any of us survived was if we surrendered. The pattern was clear. The sooner we surrendered, the more of us survive. So here I am. We surrender. Complete, unconditional, preemptive surrender. We offer you our fleet, our technology, everything." The silence returned, deeper and more profound than before. Dr. Thorne looked from his datapad, showing the carrier that held 1 billion souls, to the prostrate being, his mind reeling. General Miller's stance had completely changed. The tactical glare was gone, replaced by a dawning, horrifying comprehension. He wasn't looking at an enemy. He was looking at the refugee of a war he hadn't even had to fight. Ana Flores looked at the envoy. At the embodiment of a civilization so broken by a future that hadn't happened, that they chose abject submission. She understood. This was not a victory. It was a responsibility. She stepped forward. "We have a saying on Earth," she said, her voice clear and firm. "An eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind." She looked directly into the envoy's eyes. "We do not accept your surrender." The envoy flinched, a universal cringe over being expecting a killing blow. Then, Ana Flores smiled a small, gentle but unwavering smile, and she extended her hand. "In its place, we extend an offer of friendship and cooperation." The envoy stared at the outstretched human hand. This was a variable no simulation had ever predicted. But it had seen the human media. It knew the protocol. Hesitantly, almost reverently, it reached out its own slender, multi-jointed hand. There was a nervous tremor in its movement. Its cool, strange skin touched her warm human palm. It grasped her hand. And they shook. It was a clumsy, alien handshake, but on the concrete of a forgotten launch pad, under the watchful eyes of a terrified world and a broken fleet, it was the beginning of a new galaxy.